Charles from Arizona State University. So we'll switch gears a little bit. We've been keeping pretty much in the corporate world here, and now we've switched into the university world, which is a little bit different. If you can imagine a giant conglomerate with a bunch of little businesses inside of it, so it's kind of a challenge at times. I'm in one of the larger businesses called the School of Life Sciences at ASU. So I'm going to talk about two things. So when I talk about 96 video conference systems, I'm talking about the campuses as a whole. Because when we started this project, we always had to think about how are we going to ramp this up into the campus. We have 4 campuses. They're blended because all the units have their own kind of money. There are Polycom, there are Canbergs, there are even homemade ones that go unnamed. These can be scheduled by the faculty, and I say students, but obviously students don't have full access to it, but it's that kind of a management kind of system. So there are a lot of users that could be out there in a classroom setting. What we brought into it is a very exciting project with the Smithsonian. It's a 5-year project. Where else do you go to explore and do experimentation? Universities and Smithsonian. So we started partnering and we started working with Video. And I have to say that because this is one of those challenges, a name that is almost the same as what we talk about. So if we had to say there was one technical thing to overcome, it's the name. So what we ended up with is we're ramping up to the 300-seat video conference system, which is their video campus. The first one we built and we have in place with the Smithsonian is much smaller. It was more like a proof of concept, PC. So what we ended up doing is building that out. We have the video gateway, which is really critical because you don't want any of these 96 systems to go dead just because you bring in new technology. So we can connect to any of those as well as our other partners at Mayo and Barrow Neurological, which each one happens to be in the world of Polycom, the other one's in Tannenberg. We don't care. We just connect to either one we want. And then with video replay, it's critical for education. So we can capture any of those, and we're playing at that right now. That's pretty much the environment that we're getting into. And I would have to say that is beta right now, and we're having lots of fun with it. I wouldn't say we're going to say go grab it right this second, but we're clamoring for the final product. Okay. So, objectives. Provide flexible and portable video conferencing solution. Okay, well, that's going to have to be pretty flexible if you've got that many users. Teachers, scientists, they all have their own needs, their own wants. And in the main want and the main need for this project was taking video conferencing out of the room and into the environment. So we actually we have connections down into Panama on the Barrow, Colorado Island, which is in the middle of the Panama Canal. And we can connect with video with wireless on that island and interact with the researchers there. So why we're excited about it is instead of having talking heads coming into classrooms, we can have people in the field talking to the students and interacting with them. The other thing is to preserve the connectivity to legacy systems, which we talked about. And finally, make it as easy as making a phone call. To scale this up into the university, if it isn't easy, trust me, it is a headache. So that's one of the things that we liked about video and is the simplicity, both on the PC and the Mac. It really became important to us because we have both users. We don't have time to have 2 different kind of platforms going. All right, so primary purpose, video is we're partnering with the Smithsonian Institute. The Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute is strong. It's a big facility down in Panama. It's very powerful as far as a research entity. They did not have a good collection or a way of interacting with graduate students. They have programs that they're doing, certainly, but they didn't have as many as they want. And so with ASU, it was a way for us to get our students and our graduate students and undergraduates involved with the researchers down there. And the researchers, students they might want to do. On top of that, it allows student-to-student interaction, scientist-to-scientist interaction. One of the interesting notes about this is that once we got this started, and we'll talk, I'm sure, later on about how security is an issue, we had to get this through the firewall and proxy server of Smithsonian through DC, which they absolutely had no trouble with and enjoyed it so much they bought their own system. So that's a fun thing to deal with. So in the end, what we ended up doing is linking this all up, getting all the students going, and the final point of this is I have a passion for K-12. That's part of my role. If you saw my title, it's a long one, and the end of it says "and outreach." Outreach is really important to us. If we don't get students when they're young, we're not going to get them when they're going off to college. So we're passionate about it. What we really like about the technology we're investigating here with video is the fact that we're going to be able to get into schools unlike any way we could before. That is just something we haven't been able to do. And so in the next few years, you know, I don't know, this is an unusual conference for me to be at. I'd usually be at a scientific conference talking about cells and cell divisions and talking about structure and that sort of thing. So what's interesting for me is I would like to, you know, come back and, you know, as an end user and tell you where did we end up in 2 years with this, because I think we're going to have some exciting things happen.